Um, just want to welcome all my subscribers to a little bonus chat that I'm having here with Scott Carson. He was just explaining to me how, how uneducated he is. So explain to me, Scott, why, I guess, where you are and what you can articulate blows your mind. Just,
Yeah, and I love it, right? Because I'm just a random dude that was expelled twice. I was on the streets at 14. I've had a pretty colourful life, right? But I don't have an academic background, and for a long time that was painful to me because a lot of what society is judged upon is about the academic success in order to take you to where your financial success is,
mm,
which is reasonable. I have no issue with that. But I am very wise.
mm,
And I'm wise because I don't do theory. I've had to live every single circumstance that has been put in front of me. With living those experiences, that's what gives me, embracing them, stepping into that confrontation, stepping into that love, stepping into the discomfort, stepping into that joyful moment, an opportunity in time. I'm going to share something with you, and it's just probably one of the most romantic moments in time with a woman. I don't even know her name, right? But it's that action. If you've just watched the podcast, you will know trust, respect, and love equal action. So I was walking on the beach. I just got out of hospital, diverticulitis. I was in there. And actually, it was one of the really beautiful times of my life where I got to help a guy settle his life. He had stage 4 cancer, and so I was basically his death doula, and it was just wonderful. So I come out of hospital after that, and I was just woke up early, and I'm like, I got to get out. I need to get out, go for a walk. So I grabbed a dog, went for a walk on the beach. And I walk on the beach. There's a young girl in Frankston. If you know Frankston, it's beautiful. I love it. Like next to the pier. It's a Sunday morning, right? She's in the water. Sun's rising. This is early, 5 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, I'll just check on her because, like, Frankston could have been clubbing all night. Who knows what's going on, right? And so I'm like, I'll just check on her and make sure she's okay. I said, hey, just how's your night been? She goes, oh, it's early morning. I said, oh, explain that. She goes, oh, listen, I just want to watch the sunrise over the top of Frankston, sitting in the water because I reckon it'd be great perspective. I've always wanted to do it. And I said, yeah, I understand that because I swim around the pier to try and time it so as the sun comes up, I go into the darkness and have this beautiful light. I said, cool, you're good. Anyway, I took off and walked up the road a bit, come back, turn it around. Anyway, a pot of dolphins come in. And I'm looking at the dolphins and I'm like, oh, that is gorgeous. And I'm going, do you want to swim out to them? She says, what? I says, you want to swim out to them? She says, oh, nah. I said, I'm going to jump in, we'll go together. Said, okay. So anyway, so I stripped off, just in my jocks, just walked in, and we swam out to the pole where the dolphins were, and they swam around us for a good 3 minutes, diving around. Within 5 minutes, it was just the most surreal experience,
that's
right?
mad.
Just in the moment, just enjoying and embracing it, right? As we're swimming back in, slowly, really slowly, we swam out really slowly. We swam in really slowly. I brushed her hand, and I just felt all this energy. I was like, oh my God, that is just the most, just had this experience in nature, this random person. And it was like, you could feel that attraction and energy, young, beautiful woman coming back in and we're talking. She goes, thank you so much. She goes, I've never swum in water where I haven't been able to touch the ground. You coming out with me created that safety. I'm like, wow. And that's hence the energy, that beautiful energy. And I left it at that. There could have so easily been a moment in time, right? But that was the moment in time. That was it. I got home feeling amazing because I took action. I spent a moment in time with a beautiful human being that filled my heart, filled her heart, and that's those moments in time that we can just enjoy for what they are.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I I could easily sit there and go, oh, what could have been? Well, maybe it was. But the reality is, it was just a beautiful moment in time. Sometimes we don't need to make things more than what they are. Sometimes we can enjoy things for what they truly are in that moment. And I think if if we embrace the concept of measuring our life in moments rather than time, like remember that time, remember that moment that we had when we did this, that I felt that. That's the magic, like I just magic.
When I was in my 20s, I did all sorts of crazy stuff. So I lived overseas for a year, and did had all sorts of adventures over that 12 months. And then when I came back, I really spent a lot of time in the comedy and music scene in Melbourne, and also like around Australia. And I toured around with a couple of bands, and one of them's a pretty big, I don't know where you're watching this from, but a pretty big band in Australia called the Whitlams. And I actually toured around with the Whitlams for like 6 months or so. And what I say toured around with, I essentially just followed them from gig to gig, night to night. They were on tour. We'd drive. There was a group of us, and we'd drive to the next place, and we'd watch them again, and we'd be in the front row, and we'd be singing all the songs, and um, and people would ask us, oh, did you want to come back? We're getting together. Like I remember one night we were here in Melbourne, and they were staying at a known sort of band hotel in St Kilda. And when we walked in, there was the sandwich board with the letters that you press into the sandwich board saying, and they had welcome to our guests. And staying at that hotel that night were the Whitlams, Grinspoon, I think it was Powderfinger. There was like 3 or 4 bands, because this was the hotel that everyone stayed at in St Kilda. And it was ridiculous. Like, we spent that night, there were girls running around. This was all like, sober and clothed, and, not the debauchery you might want to imagine if you've watched Almost Famous, but like just silly fun. They were going on, knocking on doors, trying to find Phil from Grinspoon, and really annoying a lot of hotel guests, I'm sure.
I can imagine.
But and I was hanging around in a hotel room with those guys on Machine Gun Fellatio. Like, I've got all these really incredible memories of those times where my answer was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. Like, yeah, I'll go along with it. And my philosophy then, sort of 20 to 25, was really, these are the memories that when I'm old and demented and have Alzheimer's or whatever, and I can't remember what I had for breakfast or my own name, and my memories of my 20s are going to be what is like freshest and most available to me, they're going to be kick-ass memories, right? Like, I'm going to be laughing my ass off in a nursing home in my 80s or 90s, giggling about the dumb shit I did in my 20s, because I was deliberately choosing actions and experiences to form memories, so down the line I could look back and go, God, that was a good time. Gee, that was fun. Um, did I get myself into some situations that I wish I hadn't? Absolutely. Absolutely. Found myself in places I shouldn't have been, with people I shouldn't have been. But I don't let those individual experiences taint that whole period of my life. And I love what you said about the moments, right? It's about the moments. And for me, I went, I was really deliberately creating those moments and seeking them out, so that I was forming these amazing memories that are going to serve me. And now my daughter is the age that I was traipsing all over the countryside, telling my mum that I was having a sleepover at someone's house, when actually we drove to Canberra to see a band, right? Like, she thinks I'm at Moonee Ponds. I think she knows now anyway. Like my daughter's that age and she's doing those, experimental things and having these experiences and saying yes to life. And I'm looking on, 20 years down the line now, approaching 44, going, yep, good choices. I've got great memories, yeah. I really think if we cultivate those, and it's not necessarily something that I stopped doing in my 20s, right? I'm in my 40s and I'm really having a revival of that. I'm looking at, cool, how do I have cool experiences? How do I meet amazing people? Like my 12-year-old we'll be watching something on TV and I'll be like, oh, I actually know them, or I actually went to a thing and I know someone, or such and such that used to be their housemate, or like from this period of my life where I was really immersed in that creative community. And my 12-year-old goes, Mum, you know everybody. You know everybody. And I know a lot of people and I'm connected to a lot of people because I chose to lean in to, like, say yes to life. Let's do it and create these memories. And I love them. I cherish almost every one of them.
So I'm sitting here smiling, and one of the big regrets that holds people in their latter days is the things they didn't do.
Absolutely.
Right. And I can't remember who it was that said to me, it might have been Tony Robbins, somewhere around that, like, how would you go at the end of your days? They say, Scott, fantastic life. You had a red hot crack. If you had taken more action, this is the life that you would have led. Do you want that tape? I don't. I don't want to wish that happened. Right. I wish I had done that. Wish I had done it. I'm gonna go. I can't believe I did that. Oh my god, I got away with that. Oh my god, that. Like, and I've long since lost the right and wrong in life. I don't do right and wrong. I just do there's experiences, pleasant and unpleasant. So how do we create more pleasant experiences? Well, we just step into them. We don't know until we step into them.
Yeah.
Some things, and that's like, for your listeners at the moment. Right, I'm gonna share with you where I am actually at right now. Right now, I've been in a marriage for 20 years, 22 years, been together, and it's been a big journey. Like, we've been through a lot together. Like, Marcel has had to learn to walk and talk again. We lost business. One through ice coming through the company. The other one because my partner reversed out his driveway and killed an elderly woman, and it sent him on a spiral.
Oh,
And that created a lot of pain, right? And that so I lost a baby a couple of years ago, like really big stuff. And I've been on a personal development journey for quite some time now, and hopefully that's reflected in the way I speak and the way I act. But we met when I was in pain. We met when I was in significant pain, partying like crazy in London. So that's who we were. That was the energy we created, and I've grown from that because I've no longer hold on to those emotional situations that I put blame in for, and I was angry and I was looking for justification with. I don't need that anymore because I love who I've become. And so it's been a really difficult journey with my wife, so much so that I made the decision probably a couple of years ago that I was going to leave at the right time, but we've got a son who's needs the rocks, right? So
mm,
that responsibility. But it's just so happens that I went on a weekend with one of the projects I'm involved in as an old school friend, and she was married to a woman, and she hadn't been with a guy. And I'm like, oh, we actually got caught in a storm, so we had to pull over and stay in a hotel, and we just got talking about it. And I'm like, let's have a crack. Like, it's been a while. Let's see how it is. And I didn't expect it, but it turned into I didn't realize how much I wasn't receiving.
Mm.
How much is available to me to be able to receive? So I spent some time with this person, and she's absolutely beautiful. I love her with all my heart, and I didn't know I could be loved like that
Mm.
throughout all aspects of my life. And I sit here today having not not being with her, somebody that I so desperately want to be with. So someone I really, all my heart it aches because I've experienced that and I want more of that. So I shared that with my wife openly and honestly, and it broke her. She didn't see it coming.
Wow.
Um, and she was angry, and I understand that. And then I said to her, I said, well, what responsibility are you going to take in this? I haven't been allowed to put my hand on you for 10 years.
Mm.
I haven't been able to touch you. Push me away all the time. There's no connection. I said, I've been here the whole time to not because, of what's happened in our life, and I don't want to leave you. Now I've actually asked to leave. You want to fight me for that. She has taken responsibility for her part. She's gone and got a coach. She's trying to work on herself. She's realizing all that all that's coming up. And now it's regret and shame and pain, and it's just coming out and being projected. So it's a whole different energy. Before she didn't want anything to do with me. It was easier. But now
Mm.
all this is coming at me. It's actually putting more pressure on me again, you know. And I've chosen, didn't have to. I chose to walk away from something that was just so magical, because what's important to me is that my son's wife, my son's mum, is in a good position, because it helps me in 5, 10 years' time, you know. And I had that person's now seeing somebody else, and it just rips me apart,
Mm.
you know. But here's the thing: I would rather have those moments and know that that's possible than never to have had them. I'm going to work towards more moments like that. I've seen what I can have. I've felt what I can have. What more is to come for me if I step into resolving the situations that are important, but in a way of, I see so many people just break up because something's happened. And I understand, because it's easier to run from that, but I'm not prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to run from making sure that, someone I still love and care about. Just because I don't want to be with them doesn't mean I don't love them.
Mm.
Her strength is important to me, you know. The resolve of this in not necessarily a peaceful manner, but a manner that just creates safety for both of us, creates safety for our son.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for sharing so openly. That's, it's obviously very um, personal,
Yeah,
that you've decided to share that. And I think it really loops back to that conversation about the moments, right? If you've really got to look at how does it serve you best, like where should you focus on that experience and all the little incremental pieces in that experience. Where does it serve you best to focus on? If you focus on what you're not getting anymore, is that less resourceful or less helpful for you than if you focus on what you had and the experience that you had and the learning that you gained from it, um, and be in gratitude for the moment, for the experience, for knowing what's possible, for opening up a side of you that you didn't know was there, for all of that came from that. That's the awareness that it's better for you to put the energy into that bit of the whole experience rather than the alternative, which for someone else might be could be getting, bitter and resentful about what you don't have, you know what I mean? Like that's an option as well. But for you to be able to make a choice and have the awareness that it's better for you and the people around you if you can take the positive moments of that other relationship, what it taught you about yourself, what it unlocked within you, and then take that and amplify it. That to me is potentially unique and phenomenal to relate to that, to share with us that whole experience and really what the bit that you've chosen to keep, so to speak, is that this other person opened you up to a love that you didn't know you were worthy of, a love that you didn't know that you could experience. And now you can focus on how do I create more of those moments in my life. That's remarkable.
I think that that's the key to life. We don't know what we don't know. The two things that I think are really important in life are love and ownership. Okay, like love, it's something we need to learn how to do. It's something we need to embrace. It's something that is gifted. It's a feeling that somebody's actions create a feeling of love because they've chosen to do something, so you can feel that love, and that is just extraordinary. So that's where the actions come into it for me. And we're coming from love or fear, because we're coming from fear, the person's going to feel that, and it's going to be a result. It's going to create more fear. If it's coming from love, then it's going to give me the opportunity to create more love. But ownership, like, I think it's the problem with society. I think ownership is one of the like.
Or the lack of, right?
No, I think ownership as a whole. I see, me personally, I see ownership. We want to own this instead of sharing it and learning from it and creating curiosity about how we can make things better. You know, so and I, it's really interesting. There's a lot of fear and personal shame, regret, things when relationships end, and to be able to sit in those and work through them, like, at some point in time, you cared about a person. You loved them enough to be with them. You wanted that experience of connection. Right? When I met my wife, it was drug and alcohol fueled, right? So we're in a place of pain and we were projecting it, and we're just going out, just, numbing whatever way we can. Like, I don't drink. I'm fully responsible for all my choices,
Mm.
choosing everything, choosing to be with somebody else in that moment, to feel that, to embrace what that feeling was. I could easily sit here and say, I regret it and I'm shameful, but you know what? I don't, because I learned more about me. I'm a better person because of that. I'm a better lover because of that, and I don't, it's interesting. It's interesting. Hmm. So, I mean, look, this is bonus content, right? And you can do with what you want with this information, but if we can't talk about this, if we
Mm.
can't share this information and embrace the conversation, no matter how painful, then how do we grow? How do we move through that? All I know is I want the best for my son. I want the best for Marcella. I want the best for the other person. I want the best for you, Lisa, with all my heart. I want to see you thrive as much as you can, become the best version of you. Imagine if we chose to support one another to be that, and
Mm.
accept that, no one ever makes a decision to be wrong. Let's just ask why, you know, and embrace the possibility of change. Take the scary out of, what's that mean? What can I become? There is better every single time. Have you ever noticed that? Every single time you go through a situation, better things turn up.
Oh yeah, and there's not growth isn't, that's why, for the last few years I've been talking about evolution, right?
Yeah.
It's a constant evolution, and sometimes I will stay at a level of evolution for a period of time, a varying length of time. Maybe I sort of evolve and then I sort of hang out there for a couple of years and then evolve again, and then maybe sometimes I only spend a few months and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go again. What's the next thing? What's the new thing? And sometimes it's um, sometimes it's a course or a training or a modality or like an external thing, and sometimes it's just an internal shift. It's an internal growth. It's the next layer of evolutionary development within myself as a being. Um, and as far as I'm concerned, there's no end point. I don't intend there to be an end point. I use the simple metaphor of a plant, right? If a plant stops growing, it's dead. Like a plant is always growing. Sometimes it's the branches or the flowers and the stuff you can see, and sometimes it's the roots and you can't see it because it's under the surface. But it's always doing some kind of growing, right? So sometimes people might see me and go, "Oh, I'm just kind of doing the same thing." Maybe I'm doing some root work, right? But I'm always growing, and if I stop growing, I don't know what would happen. I just stagnate or die, or So I'm just a plant, really.
I agree with that. I think we're all trees,
Yeah.
right? But I want to see a tree doesn't, you know, stop growing, doesn't choose to stop growing. It grows to its fullest potential and then dies,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I want.
Takes a
Like
long
I don't want to
time.
get, I want to continually grow until I get to my fullest potential, become this big old oak tree, right? So, but our oak trees are only strong because they're so deeply rooted in the ground. Our foundations are so strong. And that's where the growth is. The external is what other people see. The growth comes from getting into that dirt and all those fertilizer and the crap. And that's going through all of that
Love it.
into that darkness is where the external shines. Like I love, actually, I'm going to grab it for you just quickly because I just, one of my favorites, right?
I just love that connects. So Kim Savage, who was on episode 2, talking to us about conscious parenting, her business is called Oak Tree Coaching,
Right.
for exactly that.
So that's my tree. That's what you see. You don't see all my foundational roots. That every branch is supported by a foundational root. Right, we're exactly like trees.
Love
We can
it.
learn a lot from just listening and learning nature.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
Oh,
what
what
a great,
an amazing
yeah.
conversation, Scott
So
Carson, as I knew it was going to be.
like it's interesting, Lisa. Like I I don't advertise it, but because this is bonus section, I do a thing called Learning You, where it's a 6 stage process with me that I learn you. It takes a lot of work, and in learning you, you learn a lot about yourself. Teaching someone all about you is extraordinary. Um, I think it's the best gift you can give yourself, you know. So
It's really
yeah,
interesting.
do you mind me sharing that on here? Like I just, like it's not, I don't advertise it because it takes time and effort, right? And it's a deep dive. It's really, like I only ever take on 3 people at a time at most. And it's because of that. Yeah. Um,
I love that. I mean, I've always learnt something from every single one of my clients has
yeah.
precipitated reflection and growth in me. Like I absolutely believe that the I attract the right clients for me, and I learn lessons from every interaction I have with this. So I very much align with that idea, that when we collaborate, when we work with someone so closely, we can't help but uh, you know we're 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 in a partnership, right?
Mhm.
And so it's not just the client that benefits or has growth or has awakenings or awarenesses. To the point now, after almost 10 years of doing this, I will sit there in a session and I'll say something and then I go, oh, hang on a minute. And they sort of look at me and I'm like, I think that was for me, not you. It doesn't matter, ignore that, right? And it's because okay, no, that was my lesson. No problem. I'll note that down for later, right? And I can usually discern the two, yeah. But because I have my own little, moments of epiphanish moments when I'm working with a client. Yeah, I'd love for you to share this offer that you. So this is a VIP intensive Scott time.
I Yeah, 100% and it's only for those who want significant growth within themselves, right? If they want to take on the big things in life, because it is raw and honest, and I demand honesty. Like I muscle test people whether or not that'll even take them on. So as much as you'd like to do it, if you're not ready, your body will tell me, and I won't take clients on for that reason. Like it's quite it's quite funny. So yeah, but it's a personal one. If that's something that you're ever interested, people are interested in, to reach out to me. Yeah, so because it's a powerful tool. Knowing you.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
I love that. I like how you frame it.
yeah. Well, on that one, because I think we're giving away a lot of bonus content. That's pretty good. But you know what? People are worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you again for your time. It's
You're welcome.
been such a pleasure, and I look forward to the next time we get to chat.
Yeah, likewise. Take care, gorgeous human. Thanks for being you. So